Okay, the next step of this project after you have chosen a composition is to grab a 9-inch by 12-inch canvas board from the supply table and lightly with a pencil sketch out the outlines of what you see in your abstracted composition. Now, this doesn't have to be as detailed as the other projects we've done so far this semester. There's no need to grid this or really do a lot of citing and measuring. You are just kind of eyeballing this composition because your goal is to make an abstracted image. So if it doesn't look exactly the same as what's here, or if you want to change things throughout the process, that's fine as well. So I've just kind of sketched out the outlines of what I see here because I want to apply texture to my canvas. Sometimes if you think of the work of Pablo Picasso or Vincent van Gogh or any other painter that painted in the impasto style, they used a palette knife or brushes and really thick, copious amounts of oil paint. That's really expensive and it takes years to dry. So we're going to fake it and use a method that lots of contemporary artists use, and we're going to use drywall spackle. This is in a big bucket. I believe it's called Drydex on the back table, and once you're finished drawing this out, you're going to open that up, make sure that it's shut by the end of the class period, and use a variety of methods to apply the Drydex spackle, which when it is still wet is pink and it dries white, so you'll know when you come back Monday it's dry because it will be white on your canvas. We're going to apply this to your canvas to add texture. There's a couple palette knives back there. It is the end of the year, so I am running really low on supplies. There are some brushes that have seen better days, and there are also some pieces of mat board that look like this. And if you want a nice flat edge but can't find a palette knife, you can cut these up and then use the thick edges to smear the spackle on as well. So I'm just going to start playing around with this spackle, thinking about what kind of texture I want my painting to have. Now, of course, this won't remain pink. It will turn white, and we will, on Monday, add acrylic gesso, which is like thick white acrylic paint, to seal this off. You don't want to get spackle wet, so that's why we're going to apply it, leave it, and then seal it with like thick white acrylic gesso. From there, you're going to do your acrylic painting on top of your canvas as you see it here, as you see the colors and textures, or, of course, if you want to add different things or change some things, this is the project that you get to do that. So I'm applying spackle all over my canvas. I don't want to get too thick, but you can add a decent amount here. So I'm kind of applying it. I'm going to apply it all over my canvas.
Cheryl Bow
here we go
and Jen
again.
Dindorf, please go to P211. Cheryl Bow and Jen Dindorf to P211.
Okay. I'm just going to continue to apply this. I don't have to apply it to the entirety of my canvas. I can leave some areas non-textured, but if you're going to add texture, which I would like you all to try, it is a good idea to add it in different spots. The thicker and more intense the texture is, the more of a visual emphasis that area will have, so think about that as you are planning. You can also, like I said, use this to move spackle around just like you can with a palette knife. You can use the edges here to create pattern or texture within the spackle. You could even use your fingers. Make sure that you do not put the stuff down the drain. It does harden decently quickly, and it's meant to repair holes in drywall, so we don't want that hardening in the drain pipes. So make sure that if at the end of the day you want to clean off a tool, use a paper towel and take this off with a paper towel instead of putting it down the drain. Again, I have some brushes that are ruined. You can create some brush texture there if you want to. Just kind of have fun adding texture as kind of a three-dimensional roadmap to paint on. There we go. Especially once these dry, they have a tendency to all look the same. I have a couple classes doing this project, so you want to make sure, if you haven't already, that your name is on the back of your canvas and that you remember where you store it within this classroom. You're free to use any of the drying rack space in the classroom. Do not put this in your folders. Don't take it home yet because it does take a while to dry. You will have time in class Monday to finish up this part if you have yet to complete it by the end of the hour, and then gesso it. If you can, try and get this done today so that you can gesso on Monday and then begin painting on Tuesday. So that's about it. Just make sure you clean up this space thoroughly about 5 minutes before the end of the period, and then put up all of your chairs. And I hope you have a lovely weekend.